Today, as you can see, this is the third Sunday. We've got the girls up here. So for the boys, when we decided, asked the boys, what do you want to do to participate in the church service this morning for the third Sunday? Their first choice was they wanted to have a sword fight up and down the aisle. So we said maybe simulate the Roman occupation of Israel or something. I don't know. We put that idea on hold, and instead we said, well, your parents are going to want you to sit for an hour and a half without talking, sitting still. So let's find something in the middle you guys can do at the beginning. So to do that, the girls sang, the boys are going to tell a story. And for that, I've got my helper right here. What is your name, young sir?
Ethan.
Ethan. And how old are you?
8.
8. Where are you from?
Westerville, Ohio.
Are you married?
No.
All right. So, what story are you going to tell us today?
Balaam.
Who?
Balaam.
Balaam. So, what kind of story, what kind of person was Balaam?
He was a prophet.
A prophet. What does a prophet do? Or what did Balaam do?
Blessed and cursed people.
Blessed and cursed people. Really? And Mr. Balaam, where did he live?
The desert.
And what kind of person was Mr. Balaam?
He was a very important person.
Did lots of people want to see him?
Yes.
So he was a very important person, Mr. Balaam was?
Yes.
All right. And what did Mr. Balaam always have with him?
His donkey.
And what else?
His donkey whacking stick.
Okay. Now, there's somebody else in this story. Who's the other person in this story?
The king of Moab.
King of Moab. And what was his name?
Balak.
What?
Balak.
Balak. And what kind of king was Balak?
A mean and very mad king.
Mean and bad king? And what country was he the king of?
Moab.
Okay, so let's set the story a little bit. Let's set the stage here. So, had the Israelites already come out of Egypt at this time?
No. Yes.
Yeah. They'd gone to Canaan the first time, right?
Yes.
Did they go into Canaan?
No.
Not the first time. Where did they go instead?
Into the wilderness.
And what did they do in the wilderness?
Wandered around for 40 years.
And then after that, then what did they do?
Came back to Canaan.
For a second time?
Yes.
And what country did they come to on their way?
Moab.
So you're telling me that one morning the king of Moab woke up and looked out of his window and he sees these however many people of Israel camped right outside his window and about ready to march through his land. That's that what you're telling me?
Yes.
So what did this King Balak do?
He sent a messenger to Balaam.
Sent a messenger to Balaam. And what was the message?
Come help me curse these Israelites so I can destroy them.
Really, that sounds like a mean message. You sure that was what the message said?
Yes.
Okay, so he sends a message to where?
To Balaam.
Balaam. And about how far apart was it?
400 miles.
400 miles through the desert? This messenger had to travel? Okay, so he gets to Balaam's house, and what does he do?
He knocks on the door.
Okay, and what does Balaam do?
He opens the door.
And what does the messenger say? What was the message that he was supposed to get?
Can you come help me bless? No. Can you come help me curse these Israelites so I can destroy them?
And so what did Balaam say?
Come sleep at my house and I'll think about it.
Really? So he spends the night at Balaam's house, and what does Balaam do that night?
He prays.
Okay, and then in the morning, then what happens? What's the first thing he does in the morning?
He eats breakfast.
Okay, he eats breakfast, and then what?
He saddled. No.
What does he tell the messenger?
He says no.
He says no, he's not going to go with?
Yes.
So was the messenger sad or happy?
Sad.
Okay, so what does the messenger do?
He goes back to the king.
To what king?
The king of Moab.
And what does he tell the king of Moab?
He said no.
So what does the king of Moab do? Is he mad or happy?
Mad.
Very mad?
Yes.
So what does the king do now?
Sends more messengers and more money.
Really, back to who?
Balaam.
What does he say? What does he tell the messenger to say?
I will give you more money if you come. And you have to this time.
Really? So the messenger has to make that long trip all the way back to Balaam's house again?
Yes.
Okay, so he makes the trip again. He gets all the way back to Balaam's house, and then what does he do?
He knocks on the door.
And what does Balaam do?
Opens the door.
Okay, and what does the messenger say?
He says, you need to come with me. I'll give you more money, and you can't say no this time.
Really? And what does Balaam do?
He says, come sleep at my house and I'll think about it.
Really? So he spends another night at Balaam's house. And what does Balaam do that night?
He prays.
Okay, and so then in the morning, then what happens? What's the first thing he does?
He eats breakfast.
And then after breakfast, then what does he do?
He goes to the messenger and says yes.
Really? So did God change his mind?
No.
So God still doesn't want him to go, right?
Yes.
But Balaam said he's going to go.
Yes.
So is the messenger sad or happy?
Happy.
So what does Balaam start doing then?
He saddles up his donkey to go on the long trip.
Okay. So they start going on that long trip through the desert back to where?
To Balak's house.
Okay. So they get going on the road. They're on the road in the middle of the day, and what happens?
The angel of the Lord appears.
The angel of the Lord appears. And who sees the angel?
Just the donkey.
Just the donkey? Nobody else sees the angel?
Yes.
And what does the donkey do?
He bolts Balaam off.
And what else?
He runs off into the field.
And what does Balaam do? Is Balaam mad or is he happy?
Mad.
So what does he do?
Whacks him with his donkey wagon stick.
So then after that, then what do?
Get back on the road.
And continue their journey?
Yes.
Okay. And then they're on their journey, and then what happens?
The angel of the Lord appears a second time.
Really? And what happens this time? Who sees the angel?
Just the donkey.
Just the donkey again? Nobody else sees the angel?
Yes.
So what does the donkey do this time?
Smashes Balaam's foot into a wall.
Did that make him happy or mad?
Mad.
So what does Balaam do?
Whacks him even more with his donkey wagon stick.
So after this, then what happens again?
They get back on the road and start traveling again.
So they're still going on the journey.
Yes.
So Balaam's not getting the hint. Okay, so they're on the journey again, and then what happens now?
The angel of the Lord appears again.
Third time?
Yes.
So who sees the angel?
Just the donkey.
Just the donkey again?
Yes.
So what does the donkey do?
He just falls down.
What does Balaam do?
Falls down with the donkey.
And then, does that make Balaam happy or mad?
Mad.
What does Balaam do?
He whacks him more than ever with his donkey wagon stick.
Really? So then, what all of a sudden does the donkey do then?
He opens his mouth and starts talking.
He talks. The donkey talks?
Yes.
Who does he talk to?
Balaam.
And what does he say?
He says, have I ever done this before to you?
And what does Balaam say?
No.
So then, what does the donkey say now?
Why am I doing it now?
And then what does Balaam see?
The angel of the Lord.
Balaam sees the angel. So what does Balaam do when he sees the angel?
He falls down on his face.
Does he? And what does the angel say?
I've been sent from God to stop you because you've been disobeying.
Really? And what does Balaam do? Does he say he's sorry then?
Yes.
So he does what?
He repents and says he's sorry. And he will obey.
That he'll obey God. So what was the only reason that Balaam wasn't killed that day?
Was because of his donkey protected him.
So was he friends with his donkey after that?
Yes.
He liked his donkey?
Yes.
Okay. So if we go back and talk about this whole story then, we talk about the moral of the story, then Should you ever go against God?
No.
You should always be on whose side?
God's side.
Should you ever try to change God's mind?
No.
Even if you pray, should you try to pray and change God's mind?
No.
What about your sin? Can you escape your sin?
Sometimes for a little while, but not forever.
Right? And what about somebody if they know what God's will is, but they don't want to do it? What should they do?
They should still do it anyway.
And if you're on the road and you see an angel, what should you do?
You should listen to your donkey talk.